Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. There is coalition commotion in Gauteng. Yet again, there has been a delayed announcement in the Gauteng provincial cabinet. If you recall, it was supposed to be announced 2 weeks ago, was postponed because the national coalition cabinet situation had not been resolved. And once again, it is being
that now. But you know that we're late. So if the leadership says, hold on, let's engage, because negotiations are not easy, we have to follow what the leadership says to us. Go in the switch and engage, because this is not about that's the appointment of MECs, and it is also about this ability of the legislature and many other things that they would have considered. But from where we were, there are many parties that came into an agreement with us. In fact, almost all the parties that are in the legislature will have agreed and said they are supporting us to move ahead. So we will, of course, postpone today, but a lot later than tomorrow. There's no way that one of the state premiers not going to announce the executive of Gauteng. We will be led by the Secretary General and this negotiation team to
remains the economic hub, and they're not going to walk away from Gauteng. So what is the issue that is being discussed here? The DA is saying that the ANC is being unreasonable, that they brought 27%, and as a result, they can't be given 2 seats out of the whole 10-seat cabinet, provincial cabinet. The ANC is saying, listen, the DA is being a bully. They are saying that, listen, this is a very, very important province. We have to balance our interests, and we're definitely not going to give the DA more than 2 seats. In fact, at the original offer, according to Solim Simanga, who is the leader of the DA in Gauteng, was that they got offered 1 seat. But now they've been offered more than 1 seat. But this is a serious, serious crisis as things stand. So when we think about Gauteng and the dynamics that are at play here, I've been looking at some of the conversation, just even from members of the ANC. I saw comments that, the Gauteng ANC should be dissolved. I saw comments that are trying to say that Panyaza Lesufi doesn't want to work with the Democratic Alliance. He wants to work with EFF and MK, and the allegation around that is that so that they can continue looting or whatever. That's the conversation. And when I listened to that conversation, I thought to myself, okay, what could be the dynamics within the ANC in and around Gauteng? If you recall, Panyaza ran a very good campaign for the ANC. And I'm talking about it here in terms of objectively. They were totally demolished in KwaZulu-Natal. Totally demolished. Ended up with 17%, and they were previously on 50-something percent. So the ANC did drop in Gauteng, but they did not experience the catastrophic performance that they experienced in KwaZulu-Natal. Why do I think this happened? I think that some of the programs which were run by Panyaza, which I do think they were a little bit gimmicky, but I think that they were effective in showing that the ANC was trying to address the program. So if you look at the Nancy Spani program, if you look at the community protection officers that he rolled out, even though there were issues around Amapanyaza, even though there were issues around Nancy Spani in terms of it felt very much like the use of government departments to participate in a campaign, I think that it did allow the ANC to actually be able to prevent a catastrophic outcome. If Gauteng had not played out the way it did, this wouldn't have been the outcome for the ANC. We saw the ANC campaigning hard in Soweto. Panyaza was everywhere. Ramaphosa was with him all the time. And I think that there's an appreciation that he has been a strong political player within the ANC. He is somebody who has political ambitions bigger than Premier. Of course, he's Premier now, but he's eyeing the prize. And if you think about the big fight that is coming up in the ANC in the coming years, that's the 2027 ANC Congress. So President Ramaphosa is not going to be running, is not going to be on the ticket. So then the question then becomes, that is, who is going to inherit the power structures of the ANC, right? Obviously, you've got Paul Mashatile, who's going to make a play because he's the deputy president, and there's a tradition, right, that deputy president becomes president. But then there are going to be people who are now going to be vying for that deputy president position and perhaps other types of positions in the top six that they think will cement them for the next stage of the game, right? And it's very possible that Panyaza is going to want that, and is also possibly going to make a play for the presidency himself. Then you've got Fikile Mbalula. Fikile Mbalula as the SG is also somebody who's going to say, no, I'm the one who prevented the ANC from getting 30%. I'm the one who was dealing with, the EFF, dealing with MK, and I'm the one who's really been doing a lot of work as the SG of the ANC to bring this organization into a position where it's in a better place than it was when Ace Magashule was the ANC Secretary General. That's what he's going to be saying, or that's the argument that he's going to be making. And I've been hearing from people who are close to, ANC politics, that he does also have ambitions, and that he has been having conversations with affluent individuals to try to build the kind of support that he would need to run a campaign. So what does this mean? It means that the dynamics in Gauteng are such that they're not only about what the DA is asking for and those particular dynamics, but they're also about the dynamics of the ANC itself. Because if the ANC can get a strong ANC contingent for this particular cabinet, this means that Panyaza is going to be going ahead at full steam, right, for the next 3 years. He's going to continue, doing what is sometimes referred to as Lesufism, where a prominent politician is everywhere and everywhere. If a baby cries, the politician is there to tu-la-na-na, tu-la-na-na, they're there. If there's an incident at the school, the politician is there. Who are these people who are doing this in the school? If a Nyaupe boy is smoking at the street corner, the politician is there saying, no, Nyaupe is a real problem. We must deal with the drug crisis. If anything, politician will be there, right? And the people say that Panyaza Lesufi is the master of Lesufism. That's why it's named after him. Panyaza Ring is what it's called. So part of it is as a joke. Part of it is as a legitimate criticism that there's a performative element. But if they do proceed at this level, what we will likely see is that there will be an ascendance of the Panyaza contingent, because he'll be occupying a prominent position, able to Panyaza because it's his thing, and then will ascend. And that could make other people weak. So you're seeing certain people within the ANC saying, no, Panyaza is corrupt. Panyaza just wants to do this. He wants to work with the MK, because he's also viewed as a threat by those particular camps. So everyone is under the Ramaphosa umbrella, but even though they are still under that umbrella, there are some contestations which I'm observing. So these things will not necessarily come out to the full forefront at this particular point, but I think that these are things that we need to be aware of. Now, going back to the conversation around, is the DA being unreasonable? I think that the DA should be happy to get 2 seats out of the 10. Why? I think that they've gotten a lot more than they should have gotten in other places. So, for instance, in KwaZulu-Natal, they got big portfolios, and they only heard 13% of the vote. So if you got more than you deserve in KwaZulu-Natal with 13%, because if the argument is electoral share, etc., they got a lot of nice positions. The ANC was the party governing that province, and they lost that governance. It's with IFP. They didn't even get finance. They didn't get public works. Those went to DA. So if the DA gets a large slice of the cake in Gauteng, in KwaZulu-Natal, which is a big province, they should be comfortable to take a smaller slice of the cake in this particular province, Gauteng, right? Because you already have another province, which is an economic giant in and of itself, which is the Western Cape, right? So I think that there may be an over assertion by the Democratic Alliance at this particular point, and they may have to take the L on this one in terms of take two Panado. Why not? Right? It cures headaches also. I don't think that Solim Smanga is a good leader, to be quite honest with you. I think that he has many questions in and of himself that he would have to address. I don't think he's the strongest person. So I don't know why they would want more portfolios. And I think the DA also has to be honest that they are not, they don't have the strongest team in Gauteng. And it's not a Western Cape type of team, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's not their first team. Not with Soli. I don't think that Soli is the striker that I would really rely on to run Gauteng or to have a big portfolio. So that's just me. That's my opinion. In any event, I think that the DA may be over pushing it. They've gotten a lot. They've been able to hold the nation at ransom at various degrees. But I think that 2 seats is a lot. Now, the Rand today was supposed to be very happy and jump and dance and show you that it can twerk. But the Rand today, hey, it wasn't twerking. The Rand today was like, it wasn't dropping it like it's hot. It wasn't, on the dance floor the way that people thought it was, going low, going to the flow. Because I think Gauteng is still a big issue. And people who work in the financial markets now are comfortable enough to know that 2 things are locked in. KZN is locked in and National is locked in. But because Gauteng remains the economic hub of South Africa, you need to know what's happening in Gauteng. And because they don't know that, I don't think that the Rand can jubilate at this particular moment. And this is why perhaps we're seeing the underperformance of the currency at this particular stage, because the Rand today was in the 18s, right? There was a little bit of, but then it was like, nah. Also, we need to have a conversation at a later stage around how the market fluctuations were directly corresponding to what the Democratic Alliance was saying. If they were unhappy with the coalition, woo. If they were happy, woo. It makes me feel like high net worth individuals and people who have access to large amounts of money were buying and selling foreign currency on particular days with an intention to create market sentiment that they were then driving. And I don't put it past them. And I don't think that it's something we should overlook, considering the fact that banks already paid acknowledgement of guilt for manipulating the Rand in the UK, in America, and some local banks also acknowledged guilt, right, for their participation in South Africa. And currency can also easily be manipulated by changing sentiment. So if you have negative reporting that is deliberate, and if journalists take envelopes, I don't think that we can ignore that other media houses perhaps are also taking instructions. Because you can't say, well, journalists take envelopes, it's a problem, but then say, no, but media houses never play the game of influence. I think that would be disingenuous. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think that the fiasco in Gauteng will be solved anytime soon? Do you think that Panyaza is correct? Do you think that this has to do with some of the political calculations for 2027? Let's have a conversation. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. 81% of the people watching this video haven't yet subscribed. If you subscribe, it helps YouTube know that you love this content, that you appreciate it. It helps YouTube know that you are supportive of this content and you want to see more of it. So till the next one,